everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on the film Venom. Now, as you know, Venom is a 2018 superhero film that was meant to feature the iconic Marvel character of the same name. Now, originally there were plans to do a Venom spin-off movie after Venom's appearance in Spider-Man 3 that I did cover. And eventually there would be a new shared universe known as the sort of Sony sort of Marvel universe, which would feature other characters from the Spider-Man comics in their own story, which we did see Venom getting a sequel, as well as the blockbuster bust film known as Morbius. And Venom, I would say, is an okay adaptation. So the premise of the film is meant to follow Eddie Brock after getting word from a scientist from the Life Foundation, ends up learning about the Life Foundation using human test subjects with the symbiotes. We kind of see how Eddie ends up bonding with one and slowly ends up becoming Venom. And this is where I think they take a lot more inspiration from Spider-Man's origin without really doing anything new. And I think the point of Eddie Brock in any Spider-Man media is always meant to be a dark, antagonistic foil to Peter. Because when you had Spectacular Spider-Man, Eddie started off as a nice guy, but blamed people for his own problems and was too far gone to be helped. With Spider-Man the Animated Series, he started off as Peter's rival and kind of blamed Spider-Man for his own faults. Here, I would say Eddie Brock is more of a guy with honour and integrity that does kind of cause some unnecessary problems. And of course, we kind of do see how Carlton Drake ends up bonding with the symbiote, becoming Riot. And this is where I think the Riot symbiote and the Venom symbiote are two different counterparts, with the Venom symbiote seeing more of a kinship with Eddie, and seeing that he does have what Eddie has. And I think the point of Riot symbiote was just Carlton Drake nothing more than just something to use and control. And I know the story also takes some inspiration from Venom Lethal Protector, which was a comic book series in 1993, as well as the Planet of the Symbiote storyline from 1995. And I think the point, I would say, with the story itself does take a lot of inspiration from Spider-Man, like Eddie being a version of Peter, Eddie's ex-fiancée Anne being kind of Mary Jane, Carlton Drake being Norman Osborn. I think there was intentions to do an actual proper Venom movie, but I think because of Amazing Spider-Man being taken away and given to the MCU, you can tell the creators had to kind of put a newer, fresher, and cleaner slate for their whole Sony Marvel sort of universe thing. And I know in the post-credit scene they also do kind of build up Cletus Cassidy to become Carnage, which is obviously foreshadowing Carnage in the sequel that they did do. And I think for the most part, I would think, yeah, Venom does take some inspiration, like the typical kind of learning your power trope, dealing with the dangerous threat, and basically having a kind of almost Spider-Man-like power. I think the point of Venom bonding with Spider-Man was meant to give it all Eddie's the knowledge of Spider-Man's moves, fighting abilities, styles, and everything else. And the point of Eddie Brock was always meant to be an antagonistic foil to Peter, as Eddie always was meant to believe he was the good guy. He was kind of meant to see more kind of a darker counterpart to Peter. And I think Spectacular Spider-Man got Eddie right, because you could understand why he was the way he was. And with Spider-Man the Animated Series, you can actually understand why Eddie constantly blames Spider-Man without really admitting his mistakes. I think to me, Venom is like gulping down a can of Coke. It has a different flavour that's going to be the same thing. So I think Venom definitely deserves a thumbs in the middle. It's not bad as a sort of Venom movie, but it feels almost too similar to Spider-Man without adding anything new. So, Comic Reviewy here, signing out.